The Advanced Textile Program is a program that we've created at TextielMuseum TextielLab, aimed at young makers at the beginning of their career in textiles. We offer them a lot of our resources. They get a working period in the Textile Lab, working with knitting, working with weaving, working with passementerie, to really learn about the possibilities of textiles. And we don't do it just in the lab, we also do it in an extensive online program where we connect them to our network. People who have already had an interesting trajectory in their career, who will share their story with them and who will take them along. And we hope to grow an ecosystem of talent with the Advanced Textile Program.
When you say first Textile Museum and then Textile Lab, it's funny how you think first a museum being, yes, it has the archives in a sense, where it has the history, how things used to be done, but then when you add lab to it, some people associate that with being a fab lab, but here it's a fab lab on super juice in a way, where it has the really cool tools that you can't otherwise have access to. And so with that, you then have the opportunity to do things as if it was in a factory setting with industrial machines, but where you can really experiment.
The TextielLab offers incredible access to equipment and industrial machinery that I just don't have back at home. So this is a very special program to be able to experiment and play and trial this equipment that I just otherwise wouldn't have the chance to.
We're here to explore different ways of working, both together and individually, and learn from each other. We have so many inputs of inspiration from the surroundings, from the museum, from our mentors, and also from the technicians who help us realize new aspects of known techniques and known material, but then tweak it in new ways that we could not expect before entering the programs.
It feels a bit like you're on camp. You know, you're a child who's doing summer camp and you're with this group of people and you're making a lot and you have to do a lot of fast thinking. You're so detached from the real life for 2 weeks.
2 weeks here in Tilburg has been a whirlwind. I feel like you kind of come in with an idea and then you start with it and then you realize its implications and you revert and you change and you move and you reflect. As you kind of come to these end of 2 weeks, you leave with things or are developing things that you didn't even think of before you came in, which is really special.
I think it's a really international group. It's really diverse in a way, so it's really been like a special group to be a part of with the ATP fellowship.
I also see the group also including all the product developers and all the technicians in the lab, and I think they're also very important in this program because they also add their own experience in the project and they also make this moment very nice and happy, and there is a very nice working atmosphere.
It's a bit of a mix of ages, a bit of a mix of people coming from different countries and different backgrounds, and it's been really nice to hear their input and kind of work more in a studio environment again.
It happened so many times that we saw different things in each other's experiment, and we could give different insight and different interpretation, which helped me so many times in choosing different colors and thinking outside the box I am in.
Also just by sharing what everyone is doing at the end of the day, even if you're not directly collaborating, you learn so much from the experiments that other people have been doing.
It's been incredibly valuable having input from people with other interests and other disciplines, because you get to look at your own work through a different lens. You see your work from a different perspective.
What I clearly see is that there is starting to come an interesting cross-pollination between the different participants and their goals and the things they want to try. Of course, they inspire each other subconsciously, and I think we can see that in the outcome, that everyone still stays within its own identity, which is very important, but they also easily absorb inspirations from others from the group.
I think it's a really fun project to work on, also for the product developers, because all the product developers of all the techniques of the lab are working together. And at the end of the day, everyone shows what they have done during the day, and you can see really the amount of work that we can do in one day and the different concepts that we're working on. So yeah, this project really feels like a playground also for the product developers.
Normally in a project you want to minimize the risk, and you want to make sure you still approach and achieve something. And in this case, it's really a playful environment that you try different techniques, you bring what you learn from a weaving development into a knitting development, or you switch from circular knitting to flat band knitting, and that transition also bring surprises and bring new elements that you can put it into your own practice, and that process I really enjoy.
I am trying to push the boundaries of the program developers, but they are such experts. Sometimes I don't feel I'm actually giving them anything challenging. For me, it's very challenging for my textile background and art practice, but here at the lab, they have amazing brains and experts who I find it very difficult to challenge.
So today I've brought some samples from Kvadrat, and I've showed some examples of how we try to work with colors, how we create our own colors within each textile. So what is so interesting for Kvadrat in this kind of program is that we do get a chance to, in a very concentrated way, to meet raw talent at a very early stage in their practice. And we always collaborate with external designers, and we do very strongly believe in collaboration, and that it actually adds a lot to the design process, to our design process as well. So meeting them now at this stage and in this environment give us a chance to kind of like dive into that raw creative energy.
I focused on working in the postmentary department, so I did a lot of braiding and a lot of gimping. I brought a lot of materials with me from my own studio to play with and just trialed as many things as I could. And then I also worked in weaving.
The learning curve is so quick because you start with, well, barely any knowledge, and every single time you sit with one of the professionals, you just learn so much, and it's so quick. And the outcome is so rewarding.
The nicest thing until now has been the surprise of sometimes trying something out, that you have an idea of how it's going to look, and then it's going to come out completely different, and maybe even better than what you could have expected beforehand. Yesterday I made a sample where we had programmed it, and we were expecting it to look a very certain way. But then it came out and it made some rib volume effects that was not expected, but it's the theme that I'm working with. But it did it in a new way that I had no idea how it was going to come out. But it turned out really nicely, so. A pleasant surprise, a happy accident, yeah.
So the Advanced Textile Program for sure feels like we are kind of slowly starting to build a community of creative people with a special interest, of course, in textile development. And it's a way of kind of slowly building a network.
I found it fascinating how the team of 10 people, they've managed to really give space for each other.
Yeah, I think it definitely feels like a community. Even, I think, after this, I think it'd be nice to see what everyone works on post-ATP and visit them, or, yeah, to kind of continue to grow the community, but keep in touch as well.
Even already from the people that I'm with on this program, I've really been able to meet people from all over the world, you know. So I think that that bringing of like-minded people together is really important, and I hope to continue to be a part of that.